Hello, my friend. Welcome in to your summer solstice 3-month ahead tarot reading. So happy to have you here. If you're ready to jump in, the timestamps for all of the soul paths and anything you'd like to know about me, the decks that I'm using today, and this channel are in the description box below. Remember, my readings are here to offer insight, not instruction, so please use your discernment to navigate your situation as you see fit. Take what resonates and ignore the rest. And please, if you feel called, comment and like the video. If the reading resonates, it helps me connect with your energy and lets me know that I'm doing a great job. So with that out of the way, let's introduce you to the soul paths if you would like a close-up of each one. For Soul Path 1, we have the Warrior with Early Summer and the Tourmalized Quartz, or Termulated Quartz. For Soul Path 2, we have the Summer Solstice with the Sun and the Peach Moonstone. And for Soul Path 3, we have Late Summer with the Traveler and the Black Rainbow Obsidian. So when you feel called and ready, hop on down into the description to choose the soul path that is calling to you the most, and we'll see you over there. Hello, Soul Path 1, welcome in. You chose the Tourmulated Quartz with the Warrior and Early Summer. So there's something here about protecting your peace over the next 3 months. This could be an energy that you're trying to step into currently. But I feel like you're really almost stepping into your power. You're understanding your power a little bit more. You're having more confidence in what you are willing to tolerate and put up with and stand up for. And I say protecting peace because we have the deer in behind this shield. I was going to say sword. So there could be some element of communication that needs to happen as well. And I don't feel like this, I was going to say it again, this sword, this shield is to keep people out, because you can see that she's still able to interact with the world, participate, to see the way forward, etc. There's a protection around her heart and kind of her lower chakras, so the things that feel a little vulnerable. And I feel like there needs to be some element of reflection on where those boundaries are being crossed. And that's not to say that you can control everybody or every situation. This is really being discerning about who you spend your time with, where you find yourself, and also if you are in situations where it's unpredictable or you don't really know what the outcome might be. There could be some anxiety that comes up with that, but knowing that you have your own back and knowing what you are standing up for, knowing what you are willing to tolerate in a certain situation with a certain person, I feel that's what this is about. Yeah, it's almost like instead of the hunted, you are being the hunter in a way. So there's almost like a shift in dynamic. Then I'm going to duck out. I'm going to leave the room, I'm going to go home, whatever it is. So it's almost like you're starting to learn how to set healthy boundaries, but not as a means to control other people, as a means to control your own peace and where that happens, how that looks like. And when I said sword, I just noticed that there's swords on either side here. So this almost feels like protective energy as well. So again, I feel communication and thought processes may be a bit of a highlight in the next 3 months as well, as you kind of work through that energy and step into that energy. Okay, so we're going to get 3 cards for the upcoming few months. And then we're going to get tarot to support the 3 cards, and then we're going to talk about it. So 3 cards for Soul Path 1. So in your challenge position, we have support. That could be something that you have a tough time doing, is asking for help or leaning on people in difficult times, in times of change, in times of need. It's almost like you feel you have to do everything yourself, and if not, then you're incapable, or you're not enough, or you're not strong enough, whatever the storyline is there. Now, how to overcome this challenge is forgiveness. And I feel that's more forgiveness of self than anything else. There's a letting yourself off the hook in some regard. There's also an acceptance of something, and realizing that something doesn't define you here. Just because you're not strong or a warrior at all times doesn't mean that you will never need support, or that you don't need support in a specific situation. And then we have focus, which is the outcome. I think by getting the support and offering yourself a little bit of forgiveness, I do think that's going to help you focus a little bit better and not have your energy feel so scattered, or there's an anxiety or scattered energy coming through. So I think this is going to be a little bit of a highlight in the next 3 months of really forgiving yourself and leaning into areas, people, situations for support in challenging times. And it's really interesting that the colors on these two cards are the same, but the presentation is a little bit different. So it's almost like by having that support and moving through, overcoming this adversity, you're able to walk on your own in some way, and with great confidence as well. Bottom of the deck, we have stay in integrity. So I think this is sort of the, I want to say the reasoning for this situation or challenge is it's helping you identify and stand in your own integrity, stand in your own confidence of who you are, what you need, where you would like to go, and not wavering, not giving in, not placating to other people's needs so much. I'm actually being called to get a couple of more, just to support the message, and then we'll get into the tarot. A couple more from a different deck. Forgiveness. What is this? Forgiveness. One more, and for focus, please. One more for focus. There's a lot of protection energy here. And then bottom of the deck here, we have the Hound, loyalty, chains, and promises. That could be something that you're trying to resolve within yourself here. There's a lot coming through, so I will start at the beginning here. We have the Hunter, sure-footedness, and predestination. Now, what's interesting is I'm getting a lot of warrior vibes from this, very similar energy here. So it's almost like you shift dynamics from being the hunted to the hunter. So there's a dynamic shift of feeling like you're out of control in some situation, or feeling targeted in some regard, and really standing up for yourself, really allowing yourself to be more focused in what you participate in, how you participate, if you participate, and whose advice you allow and accept. So again, this is about what you're willing to tolerate, what you're willing to accept in friendships, in family dynamics, in business, or in career. So it's almost like you become a little more focused. You become a little more sure-footedness in this. But I think it's going to require a little bit of support, because I'm not sure that this is something that you've done, or you're just learning how to do. And then we have the vengeance, overcoming slights, and a choice. That's interesting that it's coming out with forgiveness here. I think that whatever this is, it has anchored you down for quite some time. But I feel what's really lovely about this is that I do feel that you're overcoming something that you feel slighted on, or maybe a choice that you made. There could be someone that did something wrong, like you feel like they did you wrong in some way. And so there's a certain level of forgiveness you might come to. That's going to be for some, not all. But also this could just be yourself as well. I see these as two individuals' hands, not two individual hands. So it's almost like whatever this slight is, or whatever choice that you may have regrets about, I feel like it's really tied you down or held you back in some way. So this forgiveness is, it's almost like something's coming to its fullness over the next 3 months, and you're going to be able to release yourself in some way. And then focus with determination and certainty. I love that as your kind of the outcome card. And this is, again, more armor, more protection energy, very similar to this, where there's a protection happening, but I feel this is a healthy protection, because what happens is that when you pull back your energy, when you pull back into your power, and don't give that away as easily, you are protecting that energy. You are protecting that sanity or that peace of yours. And with that comes the determination and the certainty to focus and move forward with whatever it is you would like to do. So there's a confidence that comes with that. And then with the Hound, loyalty, chains, and promises, this could be the reason why you have been stuck in this particular situation, because you have felt a loyalty, or you have felt chained to something. Maybe you made a promise, or maybe somebody made a promise to you and it fell through, or they didn't live up to their promise, and you feel really betrayed by that. You feel really slighted by that. So there's an energy of trying to resolve this, of trying to maybe communicate or break communication with somebody, or get this person out of your mind, or get the situation out of your mind. It could have been something that has come in a loop. And also step into your integrity. So you're, with this one, it's like you're no longer kind of swallowing other people's garbage, but you are dissolving that, and you are kind of stepping into your own integrity and your own truth, because swords are indicative of truth and communication. So I think there's a humbleness that comes with that, and a reverence for what that truth is, a gratitude for that truth. That's very, very profound. You're doing a lot of heavy lifting here in the next 3 months, but it's going to free you. I really feel it. I get a very freed energy from this. Okay, so for Soul Path 1, let's get some more cards here. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse. We have the Nine of Pentacles in the upright, and one more for the focus. Two of Wands in reverse here, with the King of Swords at the bottom of the deck over here. All right, so I'm just going to move these over so we have room for everything. We start out with the Queen of Wands here. Let's tuck that up. And the Queen of Wands in reverse, she's unable to really see the vision for her future. This could be, I'm getting a lot of static or a lot of influence. There's a lack of confidence, or feeling like there's no motivation to really act upon a vision that she has. And maybe even uninspired. There's a feeling of lack of motivation, or not feeling inspired by something. But I feel that's because your focus is elsewhere. Especially at the beginning of this 3-month period, your focus is elsewhere, of maybe trying to step into your power and trying to define what these next steps are, and not really feeling like you can overcome some kind of obstacle, not feeling very confident in yourself here. But as the months progress, I do feel with this forgiveness energy that you do step into some kind of independent energy or prideful energy. You really start to understand what you value, and you really start to nurture those things that you love, which gives you a sense of purpose and meaning. and even direction to some degree. I really get a lot of gratefulness and gratitude here as you are kind of stepping into and aligning to what's most valuable to you in terms of beliefs, core beliefs, the things that you love, the people that you love, what makes you feel comforted, secure, safe, etc. So when you kind of let go of the reins or let go of whatever's holding you back, you step into this independence from the situation. It's like you're able to break free. You may even physically start to feel better as well if this has been bogging you down in any way. So with this focus card, it's like with the Two of Wands in reverse, it might not be a time to take action yet. So with this focus, I almost get really honing your vision, honing your direction, figuring out what pathway to walk down, and shoring up the defenses, or shoring up the fence line. What am I trying to say with that? It's really grounding yourself in the moment and in this new energy to be able to determine where you would like to go next, because you're shifting, you're changing direction. So you can't just immediately hit the ground running as soon as the summer is over, because there's an integration process and even a letting go process that is going to be happening. And you have to get clear first on where it is you would like to go, what decisions need to be made in order to get there, and what you might need to learn along the way to really come into this energy of knowing, of disintegrating the ties from the past, disintegrating the chains or the anchor that has kept you stuck for so long. And it's interesting that we end with a sword energy here, because we did talk about that. And then there's this integrity, which is about your truth, aligning to your truth, making decisions in that truth. And then we have the sword here, but it's disintegrating the loyalty, the chains or the anchor, and the promises that were not kept, I feel, are being eliminated in this process. And you're stepping into a new truth. You are stepping into what you need to do in this moment, the decisions, the choices, the learning, the understanding, in order to start building your future, whatever that may look like for you. So this is a time of understanding some, I want to say, darkness or something that has plagued you for a really long time. I do feel that's part of your journey to your self-worth, to building your self-esteem, to coming back into this Queen of Wands energy. But first, there's a little bit of backtracking we have to do, and looking at how we see ourselves, what we value, are we aligned to those values, and then looking at those core beliefs that may or may not be serving us. To find our footing again and to have clarity on where we would like to go next based on this fresh new energy. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 1. I do hope these were helpful. Let me know if they were. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Peach Moonstone with the Summer Solstice card with the sun. You could be a fire sign, or you could be a Leo, because the sun rules Leo. There's something here about really this is personal expression. So there's an expression that's coming through that I feel is very new. And I'm not really sure specifically what that is or what that entails here, but I really feel like you are stepping into either some kind of independence, or you're reconnecting with your core, the core of who you are, and then connecting with that, there's like an outward expression of that. There's also something to do with freedom here as well, so maybe you are going to find freedom, a certain level of freedom in the next 3 months, where maybe you break away from something, someone, a situation, and you're just able to fly high or go to somewhere new. There's new lands to be discovered here. But overall, I feel like you're going to be overcoming whatever challenges that might come your way in the next 3 months. I feel like you will overcome them. So 3 cards for Soul Path 2. Bottom of the deck, we have self-regulation. And that's interesting because the sun is about the self. So there's almost like a spotlight on self over the next few months. But I don't think that's in a selfish way. Okay. So we have love as your challenge. I don't know if that's love with someone or self-love. We have cleansing to overcome the challenge. And then we have embrace uncertainty as the outcome. So there's something here that you'd like to be sure about. But I feel you're being challenged by that right now. Now, my immediate feeling is that there's somebody of interest to you if you are looking for love, and you are having to really regulate your emotions or regulate how you feel or what you say around this person. There's almost like a holding back energy, but I feel you really want to express. So that could be part of the challenge for some. For others, I feel like this could be within self. There's something about you really stepping into loving your environment, loving your job, loving who you are, or really having gratitude for things in life that you have a little more. And I'm not sure why that's challenging. Maybe the clarifying cards will share that. But how to kind of move through this energy is there's something about cleansing something out, or just tidying up something. Now, I think this is metaphorical more than anything, but there's possibly a perception, the way you're thinking about something, the way you're speaking to yourself, there's like a perspective shift. I'm getting the Hanged Man in my mind's eye for this one. It's almost like you have to get into zones of discomfort for yourself in order to shift the storyline, to shift how you think about something or how you feel about something. So there's a new way of thought that's coming through here, a new way of communication, and seeing things from a higher point of view. That came through at the very beginning there, where you're kind of moving above and beyond the adversity or the challenges. And that's that cleansing energy, is almost like a mindful or intentional detachment from what is not serving you at this moment of time. And that could take all summer, I'm not sure, but you could be starting this journey for sure over the next 3 months. And then embrace uncertainty as the outcome here. So you have to be, it's a tough energy, because maybe you want certainty and can't find it right now. But I think the only way to find certainty is to start walking that path and feeling uncomfortable, feeling awkward, feeling like this isn't feeling quite right, but I know it's for the best. Now, that doesn't mean to do something that doesn't feel aligned or doesn't feel correct at this time, but I feel like the correct thing could quite possibly be the thing that you've been avoiding doing, or the thing that you feel uncomfortable doing. So when we talk about self-love, it's like clearing out those negative thought patterns or those negative core beliefs that are keeping us stuck. And that can be a really challenging and uncomfortable thing, because it requires us to face something that needs to be healed. It requires us to face some things about ourselves that maybe is true or untrue. And it's a lot of deep work that isn't necessarily comfortable. It isn't bubble baths and massages and anything that you might associate with like the joyful part of self-care. But that's kind of what I'm getting here, is this is tough self-care. This is like tough love that's coming through. And so I think, let's get some more information here. What is this love? Determination and certainty. We just talked about how you wanted some certainty about a certain situation, and there it is coming through here. You want something to be firm. You want something to be solid. And cleansing is the brawler, lack of empathy and confrontation. So there could be somebody in your life that is maybe confronting you about something, or just likes to fight about something. I'm getting very Five of Swords energy there. It's almost like you have to remove that from your life because it is affecting how you feel about yourself, quite possibly, and the certainty that you feel about something. What is this uncertainty? Stepping into uncertainty. And yeah, it's going to require a lot of self-regulation because it's not easy to step out of those toxic or negative patterns. And then we have the catalyst, radical changes and taking control. So it's like taking your power back by doing the hard thing. The hard thing that you know feels the best, or is the best, or is the most correct for you, in order to unbind yourself from this, in order to stop fighting with something, whether that's yourself or someone else. But to overcome okay, so yeah, going back to the challenge, the challenge is that you want to have a determination and certainty about maybe how you feel about somebody and how they feel about you, or about yourself, your pathway, your way forward. And I don't think that there is that. I'm not getting that. So that is definitely your challenge. And to overcome the challenge, as I mentioned, it's like you need to bring in a sense of empathy and confront the things that have been challenging you, or that have created some kind of tension. There could be something underneath that, kind of that surface level tension, that is either driving that situation, is driving your response, or driving a belief that is no longer serving you, that is no longer helping you in any way, and needs to be cleared and cleansed out of your life. And once you kind of remove that from your life, then you start taking control again, and you start making radical changes. And that is going to be an uncertain place for you, because I feel you've been directed or guided or influenced by a person or a situation, and you felt a little out of control, or you felt like you've had no say in the matter. And that's a really tough energy to be in, to feel like you're just being pulled along, where you don't feel like you have a determination about your path, or a clarity, or even a certainty about the choices that you are able to make. So this is a real kind of break free energy here, and it's going to require you to really stand your ground, to stand firm, to really regulate those initial reactions that you might have to stay in this dynamic, or to lean on something or someone in the external for answers, or for that love, for example. This is a time to step into doing it for yourself, and to offer yourself the empathy that you need to take your power back, take control again. And what I love with this self-regulation is that this is a bull. So I'm almost getting like bullfighting. It's like you have to fight for yourself in a way that you've never done before. It's an interesting message that came through here. And I do think that you're going to overcome this, and you're going to have freedom from it. But yeah, it's about facing confrontation and to be able to cleanse it out. So what is this love? Oh, interesting. I'm just looking at the red roses. They're catching my eye in this one. So it's like a love that's wrapped up in beauty, but there's a lot of thorns that hurt. So yeah, four of cups here, clarifying the challenge, the lovers in reverse, overcoming the challenge, and then outcome is the page of cups in reverse. With the lovers, or pardon me, the two of cups on the bottom of the deck. All right, so it's like you're settling for less in a way. You're settling for things that aren't really feeling great, but they're good enough. Maybe you're waiting for things to change as well in the dynamic, or waiting for your feelings to change, someone else's feelings to change, an opportunity for things to be different. So the challenge is to really overcome that and come back into an energy of self-love and making decisions that align with that. That's what that Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck there is, that it's really stepping into what you value in a person, what you value in yourself, what you value in your emotional connections, and what you pour your heart into, and really coming into alignment with that and making choices that will align with that. So that's going to be part of your challenges, to not look to the external to fill your cup. And that might be tough to do, but to try to do that as much on your own as possible, to find a level of gratitude and satisfaction within yourself, because that will give you a really good solid foundation for certainty. When you know what fulfills you, when you know how to regulate your emotions, when you know what your boundaries are, etc. So how to get over this, the Lovers in reverse, again, we have more choice energy here. Because it's in reverse, there feels like an alignment here, a misalignment here. And not maybe wanting something to kind of work out, but having it not work out in the way that you'd planned. And maybe that's the disappointing energy, is that you're trying really hard to make something work or to make something happen, and it's just not happening. Like there's a fighting energy, there's a tension, there's a stress. So it's about really confronting this energy head on, about really looking at under a microscope, in a sense, to be able to finally confront what's misaligned, what are the choices that I'm making, is something kind of presenting itself as this beautiful thing, but it's really painful or hurtful to be in connection with. Is that something that I need to cleanse out of my life? And then we get to the outcome. I think with this uncertainty, it's going to trigger some kind of inner child healing. And so that might really come up to the forefront here. This is almost feeling like it's protecting your inner child in a way, and getting back in touch with that inner child, of maybe falling in love with your dreams again, the imagination, the creativity, the sensitivity, and your sense of adventure and optimism. It's kind of getting that back, taking that power back, and really protecting that inner child. So this kind of makes me feel like you're on a journey of self-love and taking your power back, of not leaning on the external, whether that's situations or people, to provide that sense of fulfillment or satisfaction or even love, but to start doing that for yourself and protecting that at all costs. Again, I do think there's going to be some inner child healing that happens because of that, and that might feel a little foggy as you enter into that, but I feel overall you're going to get above and beyond any challenges that come about in the next few months. Even though it might be tough, I do think that this is preparation for other things in the coming months. So this is something that's going to strengthen your determination, even give you a sense of clarity and strength. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 2. I do hope these messages were helpful. Let me know if they were. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Rainbow Obsidian Stone. It's always an awkward one. And then the Traveler, Late Summer. So you could be confronting some storms, or seeing the beauty in the storms, maybe taking a trip, or stepping onto a new pathway as well. It's like there's a sense of adventure and curiosity here, which I really love. And you're not afraid to confront the difficulty or the challenges. You're almost curious about it. And with that, I think there's going to be a lot of clarity, a lot of growth, and even a lot of inspiration too. That could be an energy that you're coming into the next 3 months with. So let's get a few cards out on the table to get some themes for the next few months. And then we'll pull clarifying cards with more Oracle and Tarot. So 3 cards for Soul Path 3, please. We've got 2 here. 1, 2. Thank you. And then that, I feel, is the third one. Okay. With higher power at the bottom of the deck here. Oh, okay. This is very kind of magical. It feels very magical. And there's such grace to this as well. I do think you are... so, first of all, before I get too far down, the challenge is to accept help here. And this is your challenge card. I'm not sure if there's a specific reason for that, or if something that you're going to be facing, possibly this storm, it's like you need to be open to receiving help and accepting help from others so that you can open yourself up to a new experience or a new way of healing even. And to overcome this challenge, Enchanted. So here there's something about, there's a stillness that's coming through with that. There's also a magic that's coming through with that. So stillness might be something important for you. Facing the darkness with that help might be something as well. But also just seeing the opportunity and the magic, which is kind of what I got from that. There's a curiosity that I think you're going to be drawn into. It's like, it's almost like you're no longer allowing something to hold you back. It's like, I'm curious about this. I want to see the magic and the possibilities in facing this and overcoming this. So I think you're going to be doing that. And if you didn't have any thoughts about that, then that's part of your guidance to move you through this, just to see the magic in the, I want to say magic in the making, but the magic in the healing, the magic in navigating whatever the challenge is. Because there is beauty here. There is an experience here. There is growth and even inspiration here. And the outcome is changes. So some things might be changing for you. I do feel like you're going to be allowing and accepting these changes with a lot of grace, because maybe in this darkness you're connecting in with your higher power, your higher self, or some kind of divinity or spirituality within you. It's like your spirituality is deepening or developing in some way over the next 3 months. And it does so because of this storm, or because of this journey that you are going on. I think it's a metaphorical journey more than anything. Let's get some more cards and see what's happening here. So what is this accept help in your challenge position? Foundations and community. Okay. So yeah, yin energy is very receiving energy. So you have to get comfortable receiving help from community, wherever you find that. That could be in your family, that could be in your chosen family, that could be in your friend groups or communities, networks that you're connected to. This is where the foundations begin. The foundation for your spiritual journey, for your awakening even. What is this, Enchanted? Enchanted, the poet. Relationships and vulnerability. I love that, actually. This feels, and I mean, this is how to overcome the challenge. I feel like for some of you, transmuting this energy through writing or some kind of creative practice is going to really help. But also, there's something about synchronicity and connecting with new relationships and allowing yourself to be vulnerable with people. That might be a real challenge as we talk about accepting help and community, because it's hard to open up about our struggles, about our pain, about the things that are plaguing us, because they're very personal. But I feel this is really going to help open you up into some kind of new chapter and help you rewrite some kind of story here. But in order to do that, you must be open to making yourself a little bit vulnerable. But again, it has to be with the right community. So keep that in mind, use your discernment. And then changes, hiding your true self and projection. I don't think you're doing that anymore. I don't think, and I almost wonder if that's part of this journey here, is that you're taking the mask off. And that starts to happen in this space of vulnerability, in this space of sharing, in this space of opening yourself up to new relationships. You're starting to see changes within yourself, and you're starting to reveal your true self. You're no longer hiding your true self. You're no longer projecting onto other people. It's almost like, yeah, you're taking the mask off, and that is quite possibly a huge change. And not to say that you're wearing a mask to deceive people in any way. I think this is a form of protection. So I do think that's part of the change, is that you're no longer feeling like you need to protect yourself in that way, where you have to hide your true self. There's just a really big heart opening here that I feel is happening for you in the next 3 months. And again, it has to be the right community, or else it's going to really restrict what you can share, how you share, etc., and may even keep these masks on. So by finding the right community and a safe space to be vulnerable, to share stories, and to have that reciprocated by hearing other people's stories and vulnerabilities, it's going to really help expand your perception of self, connect you to a higher power. I'm almost getting, if it's accessible to you and available to you, there could be a spiritual circle in your area. I don't even know what they're called. I attended them for a year and a half where I live, and it's just ceremonies. Some of them were moon ceremonies, other were plant medicine ceremonies, others were specific to healing the divine masculine, etc. So try to find circles like that are a little more spiritual in nature, because it could be really helpful to come into a space with like-minded individuals that are on a similar journey. So let's get some more information with tarot and get a little more clarification, maybe some guidance here. Yeah, it's like your fingerprint is changing. I just am looking at this fingerprint here. Not that your fingerprint is changing, but it's like you're putting your mark on something. Okay, with the Hermit in reverse. What is this poet? Two of Swords in reverse. So I think you're going to feel the fear and the uncertainty with this Enchanted card. What are the changes? Look at that. Love it. Love it. Okay. Yeah. So you're stepping away from relationships or collaborations that are not reciprocal, that are not really offering you a space to grow, and vice versa. So there are environments that you really don't feel connected to, you really don't feel like you can grow. It almost feels like a retraction even, and you really feel like you can't do the work that you want to do. So you're stepping away from that, and you're stepping into something that feels a little more aligned, maybe even higher in some regard, connected to your own divinity. Now with the Foundations and Community card and the Accept Help, we have the Hermit card. So this is not doing things in isolation. I think you have a strong foundation of your own internal wisdom. You've learned a lot along this journey. And part of that challenge is to come out and start sharing that, to start sharing your wisdom, to possibly help others, to share the storms that you've been through, to share the beauty and the lessons that you've seen and understood in those storms. So there's, just a coming out of your cave a little bit in order to really connect in with community, to accept that help, and to not do things on your own anymore. This isn't a time to isolate and huddle away and kind of incubate on your own. This is time to express and to share and connect. I also feel that's part of that energy too, of the Three of Pentacles, is that you have been in somewhat of an isolated mode and haven't been able to see the growth that you'd like to see, because you need other people at this time to be able to expand you and push you. And I almost see like a dough. For some reason I'm seeing dough. I don't know if you're a baker, but if the dough just sits there, it can kind of just grow on its own, but it doesn't really take any specific shape. It just kind of expands with the yeast. But if you have somebody to kind of help it help shape it, help move it, help get the air pockets out. It then starts to take different form and different shape and expand outwardly rather than kind of up. So I don't know if that's a bad metaphor, but that's the first thing that came to mind when I saw that. It's like, you're doing fine on your own, but you can do a little bit more and see the growth that you're looking for if you connect in. So again, I feel like you're going to be making a decision and feeling some kind of fear in doing it anyway, because you're kind of understanding that if you don't make a decision to be vulnerable and to step out, even though it's a really uncomfortable space for you, you're going to be unable to find that peace or that movement or that new pathway that I think you're in search for. The only way to do that is to really step into that discomfort and make those decisions to feel the fear and do it anyway. But again, it's going to be the right community, right? Just reiterating that. And then the changes, I think there's going to be so many positive changes. The 10 of Cups in the outcome card is you being able to move with so much heart and having other people support your journey, having you support their journey, and to be able to not have the need to hide yourself, but you're finding yourself in community with other people that feel really good, that feel fulfilling, that are equal give and take, and that is just an outpouring of love. So you're going to find that, but it's going to require some changes ahead of that, some shifts. So that's actually a really beautiful way to end your reading, my dear Pile 3. So these are the messages I have for you. I do hope these were helpful and resonated. Do let me know if they did. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading.